Sam Heughan.
Hello, mate.
Hello, how are you?
Good. Yes, in the sweatbox.
Yeah, I know it gets incredibly hot in here. We will start to become one with these chairs eventually.
Good.
But this is probably, at this stage, my second favourite place I've interviewed you in person.
Ah, where was the first?
I'm going to let you guess. I mean, we've done, 3 interviews in person?
Yeah.
I mean, do you want me to tell you?
I think probably the favourite one was outside the Eiffel Tower, was it?
Yay!
In one.
That was incredible. I mean, I think they call it magic hour, you know, when the light is just perfect.
Golden. Yeah.
Sunset, sunlight on the Seine.
The Eiffel Tower, just the lights glittering as they lit up. I think we almost had a couple of glasses of champagne while we guerrilla filmed some illegal filming around the Eiffel Tower and then prepared to run away from the gendarmes. So.
I know. You sort of watch movies and you think, yeah, I mean, it's all done legit, fully permitted up. And then the truth is, it's like, just turn the camera on.
Turn the camera on and make sure no one's watching. Pretend like you're not doing anything. Yeah.
Because that was the unofficial rap party, sort of unofficial rap party to SAS Red Notice.
That's right.
It turned into a rap party.
It did. It was we'd shot in Budapest, where you had come also to interview us in the freezing cold.
Oh, that was my fault though, because you were dressed properly for that weather, and I was like, "Ooh, I'll put on my stylish coat."
Yeah,
bad idea. That was the coldest I've ever been.
You look stylish though. You look great.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we obviously in Paris to finish the sort of that section of SES, and then I think we actually filmed. I think we filmed in London, or was that after? I can't remember. We did pickups. We went to Spain as well. So you've been on quite the journey with us on that movie.
I really felt like I was on a journey. And that night was great. A lot of wine was quaffed. I did get a bit of anxiety when we were in that Chinese restaurant. You know, when you get that thing, I was like, are we that table? Are we the Brits abroad?
I think we were.
Not us, particularly. The other people at the table.
Yeah, we were quite civilized. But I think there's a large group of us that consisted of, drunk actors, financiers, producers, a psychopath, and yourself. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it was fun.
It's always the investors. Always the investors who start you off.
The worst. Right?
Yeah. Let's blame them.
Yeah.
Let's blame the people who made your movie happen.
That's a great way to go around business, right?
So how is it then? You've just finished Outlander season 6. You're in London. Decompressing. Do you have to decompress?
Yeah. Honestly, I was just saying to you outside there, we were just chatting, and it really is a sort of transitional moment, and it sort of sometimes it takes me very hard to sort of switch off, and for the first few days after shooting and completing a season of Outlander, you're sort of still on this almost hamster wheel of getting things done and doing things. So I came to London. I have a bunch of meetings and various things going on, but suddenly it's just dawned on me, I'm like, I'm done. And it is, to be fair, the shortest season we've done. It's only 8 eps, but it was potentially one of the hardest, because we were shooting during a pandemic and there were just a lot of factors involved that made it, pretty difficult to shoot. So I've been celebrating. I've been enjoying being amongst people again, and things opening up as well. In Scotland we've been in a kind of a lockdown, a lot more strict than you guys have in England. So it's nice to actually see people.
So about 4 months filming up there? Was it February?
We started January the 3rd.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
How isolated are you up there? Because obviously I know you've got a studio just outside Glasgow that you do a lot of stuff in, but then, like, when you're filming actually out in rural Scotland, like, are you away from everything? Do you stay in a trailer? Are you camping?
Yeah. Basically, they've upgraded us now to like, not the pop-up tent, but now I've got a
glamping.
Yes, glamping. That would be lovely, wouldn't it? I've often thought that as well. When you get like your caravan, your trailers, your unit base, which is obviously all your trailers there, and everyone has their own one. I'm like, why do we bother going to stay in a hotel? Just stay in your trailer, and you wouldn't have to get up as early. But no, we are. We primarily at our studios, which are fantastic, that have grown from a dusty old warehouse that sort of, you could call it a soundstage, to now we have 5 full sound stages. We have a whole back lot, which is a whole town, frontier town, pretty much, set in the late 1700s in America. And then we shoot all around Scotland. We were just shooting up in Glencoe the last 3 days, and it really was. There's still snow up there on the mountains. There's of course midges. There's everything else, but it was stunning, and it felt very much, that is Outlander.
I mean, I love that part of the world. I spent most summer holidays for about a decade on the west coast of Scotland. So like Arran, Skye, Oban, Mallaig, Arisaig, all up there. And actually not far from Glencoe, about an hour away, Loch Awe.
Loch Awe is stunning. It's I'm glad you said that, because I love the west coast of Scotland. And, people do go up, especially tourists, and they'll drive around the North Coast 500, or they go to Edinburgh or whatever. But the islands are the most magical part. And I think, part of our TV show that I created, Men in Kilts, was about that, about trying to introduce people to that side. It's very magical.
So now you've finished Outlander season 6. Are you happy? Because obviously you're a producer on it now, so I guess you've got more concerns, more pressure on your shoolders.
Yeah.
But are you walking away happy with what you've done with this season?
Yeah. Like I said, it's been challenging. I think just shooting through a Scottish winter. I think during a pandemic, it was weird. We would go to work, especially at the start, and it was we didn't know what was going to happen. I just finished a movie in London, which had similar protocols, the COVID protocols, but to be in Scotland and to see no one on the roads driving to work, and just to be in this world where it felt like we were the only people at work. It was kind of crazy. So but I'm really pleased with this season, and it does, as I said, it feels like almost like early Western vibe to it.
Wow.
And we're building up to the War of Independence, and it's obviously there's time travel as well, and there's all these other elements. So yeah, it feels like a small but mighty season.
Because you've been doing it, how long have you been playing Jamie Fraser now? 7 years, is it? Going on 7 years.
It's almost 8, yeah.
Wow.
And it's mad how fast it goes, and it's been quite a journey, and I feel very fortunate. It's changed my life, definitely, and given me a lot of opportunities. But it's mad, you look back. I've even been near the studio. I used to live near here, and sort of looking back when I was, a jobbing actor or trying to get into the industry, and thinking what it would be like to be in a TV show of my own.
How was it though, that first audition? Like, do you remember it like it was yesterday? Did you have to audition
for Outlander?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'd been in America. I'd done this arena tour called Batman Live, where I played Batman and Bruce Wayne, and it was ridiculously amazing. This is one of those jobs you never think you'll ever do. And then I'd spent I think almost 4 or 5 months staying in Los Angeles for pilot season, and I got pretty close on a number of jobs, but not got them, and came back to London. I was feeling pretty despondent, and spent all my money, and was just at this point. I was 34, and just thinking, can I keep doing this? And then I had this audition, and I remember when I read it, I just was like, oh yeah, I know this guy. Like, I can do this. It was strange. I think it really was all about timing, because also then when I went to do my audition, one of my best friend's wives was the auditioner. She was there. So it just suddenly put me at ease.
Wow.
And then she brought my best friend in, or one of my best friends in, to test with me on the screen test. So it was just like all these sort of...
wow, that's brilliant.
Yeah, it was.
The perfect storm of feeling comfortable.
Yeah.
Because those things must be terrifying.
Oh, they're terrifying, yeah. And I think they've changed a lot, but... I've had experiences where, it used to, in the old days, you go in and especially in America, you test for the studio, the network, and there'd be like the lawyers are there, their mom, their dog, it was just like a group of 20 people just sitting watching you do a scene. And it really was such an odd experience. But I think it's changed a little bit now.
America's weird. I once did an audition for E! Channel in America as a host, and just because I'd done it in the UK, I rewrote the script they gave me, and I did it, and the look on their faces, they were like, "What are you doing? What? Just read what we've written." It was like heresy that I changed their words. So didn't get the job. Didn't get that job. No.
Yeah, you've upset the whole writers' union now as well.
I found a lovely quote from Diana Gabaldon when you were first cast. I'm not going to do an impression.
Go on.
Of her. Okay. She's got this beautiful sing-song voice, and she speaks crazy fast, doesn't she, as well?
Yeah, she does. She has quite a unique voice. Yeah,
I'll give it a shot.
All right, go on.
That man is a Scot to the bone and Jamie Fraser to the heart.
That's really good.
It's not bad, is it?
Yeah.
I can see what you're doing. You're trying to make me feel better about that moment in my life.
She's from, Germany. Yeah, it's good. No, that's great.
But what a lovely thing to hear, because obviously I had no idea, genuinely no idea just how, I knew the books were popular, but they're one of the best selling book series in the world.
Yeah.
They've sold more than Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Mm-hmm. They've sold more than His Dark Materials, more than Bridget Jones. It's huge, huh?
It's huge. I believe she's also, I remember there was a quote, she also said that I was grotesque.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't find that. I didn't read that one. Can you imagine?
Yeah. That man is grotesque.
Well, in what context?
So, she's very clever. She has a way with words as well. But I think she'd seen the headshot that I'd taken, and it was like, this man is not Jamie Fraser. He's grotesque from this picture. But then when she saw the audition, she thought I was him. So, yes.
How quickly did you get a new headshot after that?
Straight away. Yeah.
Back on the phone to that photographer.
God, can we do another one?
You know when I said make me look? It was the word was glamorous, not grotesque.
Yes. Lost in translation. But no, she's been great, and she's been such a support and a friend. And throughout the years, always touch base with her, and she's written episodes as well. And yeah, it's remarkable, and it has this great fan base. And I think I was totally unaware of it when I first got the job. If I'd known about the fan base, I think I probably would have thought twice, because it just would have been so overwhelming, I think.
I can imagine. I once interviewed Robert Pattinson at the first Twilight premiere.
Oh, wow.
He did. And the scream was like nothing else I'd ever heard. And the first thing he said to me when I was like, what do you make of that? He was like, it's not for me, it's for the character. That first word out of his mouth.
Yeah.
The immediate sort of distancing between the two.
Yeah. Well, it's true. I think playing an iconic character, and I think Jamie Fraser is definitely one. It's like they're obsessed with these characters because they're so invested in them, and they want them to be real, and they want them they want to get as close to them as possible. So I think sometimes it is hard for people to separate the actor from the character. And I think he did a great job of sort of going in a different direction, didn't he? Afterwards?
Yeah, I guess the positive of that, not that it's a negative where they can't separate, although sometimes you hear about soap stars in particular just getting abused on the street because they're playing a villain in this series arc, and people are like, you ruined it, how dare you. But yeah, the other side is just how loyal the fans of Outlander are.
So loyal. We're so thankful for them. They've followed us through this journey, and they've also not only support Outlander, but any project that we do, any charity work that we do, myself, my co-stars, they support wholeheartedly. And honestly, we can't thank them enough. And it's a shame, right now with the pandemic and everything, not being able to sort of do these fan events, because they're always really nice, especially Comic Cons, where you get to sort of get to see people's excitement about the thing that you've been working on for so long. Because you sometimes forget when you're, day in, day out on set, you kind of forget that people are anticipating seeing the next one.
Like you said, you've been away for a while before Outlander, and obviously you're a Scot. You're a proud Scot. Is there any other kind?
No. I think we are quite proud. I think Scots have become like more proud recently. I think in the past, remember that Train Spotting quote? Shit being Scottish, at the lowest of the low. And now, it's like we have some pride. We've always got pride in ourselves, but I think there's this pride in Scotland. I think it feels quite progressive at the moment, and we're doing things slightly differently up there.
Yeah. How did your relationship change with it then once you got Outlander? Because like I said, you've been away for a while. Did your relationship with Scotland change once you were back there, and have been for nearly the past decade?
Yeah, it totally has. So I came to London, and I'd been here 12 years, and I guess worked on and off in Scotland. But I think sort of almost doing Outland has become almost an ambassador for Scotland, right? And I think I did. I fell in love with my country again, and I fell in love with the outdoors and hiking and climbing, and that's kind of how my charity fundraiser, My Peak Challenge, started. And then also, for instance, even Men in Kilts, the show that I created, and the book I did as well, Clanlands, it's all about sort of sharing that love of Scotland. And I'm a proud Scot, so yeah.
Men in Kilts, man. That must, I know you created it, but still, what a dream show. Someone who loves Scotland, traveling around Scotland. Yeah. If people haven't seen it yet, it's Amazon Prime that it's on over here. Stars in America, Amazon
Stars
Prime.
UK here.
Stars UK, which
Stars,
I think you can...
Stars Play,
Yeah. I got it through Amazon Prime.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds now like I'm sponsored by Amazon Prime. I'm not. But if
they are taking over the world, so.
if you're listening, Amazon, how you doing?
That'd be nice. That'd be lovely. Yeah.
But yeah, it's you and Graham McTavish, your co-star from Outlander. People will also know him as Dwalin from the Hobbit films. It's it's the two of you bickering on a road trip around Scotland.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
Oh, I'm glad you thought that. And yeah, it was. I was shooting Outlander 2 seasons ago, and I just thought I've always loved the Highlanders part of the show and the season 1, that kind of thing. And I wanted to to create my own sort of IP or my own TV show around the Scottish Highlanders. At that point, I was chatting to Graham, and he'd also had an idea years ago about doing a historical documentary. And it just seemed to work. And we went over a number of weekends. I financed it. I got a crew together. We got some guests on board, and it just came together. And I think it was really this camper van and the fact that we're both bickering
a lot,
completely so competitive. It's thinly veiled competition, and it's so fun. And then I realized as well, he's a big pussycat, and I love winding him up, and it's great fun.
Yeah, you do. It's which is the episode? The Witchcraft episode.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'd recommend anyone watch that. If you want to see a grown man nearly have a heart attack repeatedly.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't keel over at some point. Like you're genuinely scaring the shit out of him in that episode.
Yeah. I mean, there's some genuinely scary stuff as well. We go to the Black Mausoleum in Greyfriars Kirkyard in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
And there is something really sinister about that place. A large number of people died there, and there's this whole dark history. But yeah, I mean, anything to wind him up, and I did work out ways to do that. But also, we are slightly playing up to the camera. We are playing caricatures of ourselves. But yeah, he's a big. He plays all these like gruff, strong warriors, but really deep down, he's a complete pussycat.
It's why he's such a good actor though, because like he's an actor when you see him in the show. He's like, and then you're like, wow, like Dwalin and like, and Dougal. You're sort of like, he's very good.
We like to call him on set. We used to call him Lady McTavish because he'd come on all gruff and right, yeah, and he's sort of being very aggressive in his take, but he'll do like 1 or 2 takes and then he's done, and then he's demanding his cafe latte and his snacks, and we're very, very fond of him, and he's a great friend.
Yeah, I did think that you watch it, and obviously working in TV, you sort of go, where are you playing up to the camera, and when has it got a little too real? Because there's that weird thing when you make someone jump, like because it's a reflex thing. When you're made to jump in front of people, never mind a TV audience, there are 2 responses. One is that you sort of laugh and you're like, okay, I laughed. Yeah. The other is you go fucking livid and you're like, actually, no, I'm furious that I've been embarrassed. Mm-hmm. Did he ever lose it?
I think you see it in actually that episode, Witchcraft and Superstition. I think it's episode 4, and I got this person to jump out of him at the Kirkyard, and he was expecting something. So I left it, and we created the situation. It was right at the very end of the day, so he thought nothing was going to happen. And you can see he's like, and he's going to swear, and then he doesn't know whether to hug me or to punch me, and obviously the cameras are on, so he's having to hold it back.
What was your favourite thing to do on that road trip? Let me ask, was it visiting the Lefroy Distillery?
My man.
Yeah, listen, I mean, good only man. Because I know it's still early, but it would.
It'd be rude not to.
You're a whiskey man. I know you're a whiskey man. Just a wee dram.
Oh, come on, this is more like it. Good man, yeah. So we did. We visited Isla. That sound.
I know,
isn't it great? And it's a great excuse to drink, basically, at this time, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, we did. I mean, I have my own whiskey, right? My own whiskey brand, and I think just. I have such a passion for whiskey and wanted to sort of impart that knowledge to other people. And people don't know, they don't quite understand where whiskey comes from or how it's made. And so, yeah, I got to go and sample some fine beverages.
Yeah, you did. I mean, it looks great. We'll talk about your whiskey. Let's first do this. I thought maybe just as a bit of fun, we should both have a little sip and then see who can pull the best face. This will only work for the video element of the show.
Yeah, there's a camera.
There's a camera. I will pull the best face that basically says, I've been taken back to the misty glens and the rolling hills of Scotland. And apologies for... Is that offensive that I just did that accent?
No, it's actually quite good.
Thanks. Yeah.
It's also the voice always lowers, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The misty glens.
Well, you do it. You do it. People want to hear you do it, not me.
That's maybe just because you've drank too much whiskey. It sort of just coats the larynx. Okay, so it's going to take you back home to Scotland.
I'll go first.
All right, go then. Where's your camera?
It's mine up there. Here we go.
Okay.
This is mine.
Okay. The whiskey glens, the mountains, a stag running free, Outlander fans following you.
Good. All right, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I was laughing a bit too much. But all right, here we go.
Slanger.
So your turn.
Slanger.
He's been taken back to those Outlander. Oh, look at that. That's it.
Woo! That'll do.
Oh, it's nice though, right?
Hairs on your chest, isn't it?
Ooh. Were you always a whiskey lover? I mean, you're Scottish, so I mean, do they not give you one on your way out of the hospital on day one?
Yeah, they rub your gums with them, don't they? But do you know? Interestingly, I mean, I wasn't really until I moved to London, and then short story is that I was in London. I was pretty homesick. I've been here about a year, and I was with a good Scottish friend of mine. It was one Christmas. Went into a bar, and we were looking at that top shelf, and we were like, "Oh, let's have a whiskey." And it just having that whiskey, we suddenly started reminiscing about Scotland and how much we missed it, and it took us back home to Scotland in a way, in a sense, and that's what my whiskey, our tagline is "Spirit of Home," because wherever you are, you can have your whiskey and it takes you back.
I know. I feel kind of embarrassed that I don't have your whiskey to hand.
Well,
Sassenach
is
what it's called.
It's called Sassenach. I was going to bring you some, but we've actually sold out. But we're about to do another big release in August, and I'm just so excited. It's done so well. We've won multiple gold medals. We've got a few more we haven't even announced yet, and we're working on some other really special stuff. Hence the reason I'm sweating today is because I was testing it last night. But it was good.
Is it good?
It's so good. I'm so excited.
Yeah. I looked. That's how I know that you've sold out as well, because I went, I'll get some, and then it was like sold out. I'm like, things are going well.
I'll send you one. I'll send you one in August.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I mean, I recently at my local pub, they had a guy come down from the Glenfiddich distillery.
Yeah.
And we did this tasting where you actually try different foods with like a single malt or a blended and different ages.
Yeah.
And the effect that the whiskey has on your palate when you try those foods, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, food pairing and whiskey is a good, and I guess with chocolate and everything, it's there's so many different things. And also, I mean, I don't know if you're a cigar man, but I dabble with them occasionally, and I was trying different whiskeys with cigars, and even that's quite interesting. It really does change it. It's fascinating.
He also told this story. And I didn't fact check this because I just want it to be true. So I didn't want to find out that he just made it up. But he said that obviously when the Japanese got into whiskey making, they wanted to replicate what the Scots were doing with Scotch whiskey, and they were informed that actually Scotch whiskey is called Scotch because it uses water from Scotland, and you're in Japan, so you can't do that. And so they then, next to the distillery, built a town and called it Scotland and used the water from there.
I hope that's true.
So they could call it Scotch.
I hope that's true. I do know that because Japanese blends were really popular, and they're so good. They're single malts as well right now, but they I believe they took a lot of our barrels, and there was a particular distiller, I think, who went over and sort of started the whole scene over in Japan, like whatever it was, 50 years ago or whatever. But it's so big over there now.
What is there? There's one that I really like, Hibiki.
Yeah.
Beautiful bottle as well.
It's a beautiful bottle, and that's kind of what we were basing our whiskey on. Like all these great blends coming out of Asia, and you're like, well, Scotland, blended whiskey is generally a dirty word, and so we wanted to create something that was, a blend. It was easy to drink like them, quite balanced. But hopefully we'll continue to do that.
Going back to Men in Kilts, I will say one of the most striking images is you in a kilt with your top off and a flaming torch dancing around a fire at a pagan festival.
I'm not sure what happened there.
You really talking about what we said earlier. Where is it? Where's reality stepping into this? And actually, everyone's forgotten this is a TV show. There's a look in your eye that's gone, I'm here. This is real now. I've been taken by the pagan gods.
Yeah, right. So we recreated Beltane, which is this pagan festival, and it's part of the equinox, right? The celebration of, I think it's spring into summer, and it normally falls on my birthday, and 30th of April, and we, as a child, I used to go to these pagan festivals in Edinburgh. I used to have a big procession. There's druids and there's people dancing. And traditionally, you're supposed to stay up all night, and you must. The women are supposed to wash their face in the morning dew. They go to sleep that day, and they'll dream of their partner, their future husband. I didn't do that, but we wanted to recreate it. So we had this big bonfire, and we had all these great dancers and people there, and. To be honest, we were drinking a lot of tequila.
Now that's my spirit of choice.
Right? And so we're making it look like we're drinking whiskey. It was actually tequila. And Graham and I would had quite a few. And by the end of it, we were just going for it. So yeah.
You can see it. You can see it in your eyes. You look like you're having the best. Everyone. I think you get taken by the moment on occasions like that. But all the people that you had there, all the dancers and everything, they looked like they were taking it very seriously as well. And you must have got swept up in it.
Yeah, we did. And I think to be honest, the whole show, to be honest, everyone had a good time. We were this sort of small group of small group of people, and we just had such a blast, going around Scotland. And when do you get to do that? So I think hopefully that energy comes through in the whole show. People are just having a good time.
It does. And also you rock a leather jacket and kilt very well. I love that look. It's like premium era Axl Rose. Very
yes.
cool.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I just need some more jewelry, but it's again, Scotland has this sort of very twee tradition of kilts, and it's kind of dated, and it's nice to be able to try and bring it more modern and update that look. And I love a kilt.
Oh,
how many? If I wore one today, it would be a lot more cool.
You would be a lot cooler.
Yeah.
Although from the angle in this room, I don't know how.
Not so good.
I don't know how authentic. I don't even know if that's a myth or not. Where the whole you don't wear anything under a kilt. Is that true?
I guess you'll have to wear a kilt to find out. But
mysterious.
I'll tell you what, it is very liberating.
I bet it is.
It's very liberating. Very comfortable.
How many kilts do you own?
Do you know what? I've got a fair few.
I bet you do.
I've got a fair number now. Yeah. I've got sort of ones for different occasions, and I've got this great kilt maker called Howie, who we featured in the show, but actually he didn't make the cut, unfortunately. Sorry, Howie. But,
does he know yet? Was that you announcing it to Howie?
But his kilts are in the show quite a lot, and. Yeah, there's so much we had to cut, and it was, I guess it's one of these things, sort of have to sacrifice a lot. But yeah, I do have a large number of kilts, and I really love it. I love wearing them.
I have one kilt from the Clan McLaren, and I'm not a tourist, so my gran was really into tracing back our family tree, and she traced it back as far as a guy called Mungo Lawrence, who came down to England in the 1600s, and then we went up to Scotland and traced Lawrence, the name, back to the Clan McLaren. So I then bought a kilt from
McLaren.
Yeah,
it's like Highlander, isn't it?
It feels a little bit
you're
like
coming home.
I know.
It's the only one.
It's nice. I feel like that. I feel like Alex McLaren of the Clan McLaren, and I am immortal.
That's it. Yeah. You could be the next. They're remaking that, I believe.
Oh, they've probably
been trying to for a long time.
It would not surprise me.
Yeah,
it would not surprise me if they were. But yeah, it's nice. It's one of those weird things, isn't it? I'm like, yeah, I've got a bit of Scottish in me, but then a lot of people do. But then I sort of was like, it feels nice because I've spent so much time in that country, and I love it. And so it's nice to be able to go. Yeah, this is sort of my tartan.
All right. Well, I'll have to say. Well, next time we'll do an interview. You can be in your kilt. I think that's
both of us.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Kilts.
Deal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So with Outlander being such, it must be such a big commitment, like the amount of time, like year in, year out, that you are there on set. When it comes to your movies, do you have to select scripts that work with your schedule? Like, are there scripts that, for example, come in and you're like, I would love to have done that, but it's just not going to work with the show?
Yeah. There's been quite a few, and I think it is exactly that. Outlander, we shoot generally sort of 10 months a year, and then in the time off, it normally works out about 6 months, but in that time off we have a lot of commitments we have to do, press, etc. So fitting in a project can be really tough. So I have been very lucky being able to fit stuff in, but yeah, it's not always have had to pass up on a few things. In fact, there was one recently, Mr. Malcolm's List, which is a period piece, sort of a Jane Austen style movie, and that I was attached to, and I was supposed to do it, and then just with the pandemic and timing of Outlander, it didn't work out. But yeah.
Are there any, you don't have to say what they are, but were there any sort of like really big ones that you're like, oh come on, can we not make this work?
Yeah, there's been a few, and you know, sometimes it can almost be a couple of weeks. You just want them to push by 2 weeks, and you're like, please. But you know, then you know, one door closes, another opens, and it has so far been, you know, very beneficial to be an Outlander, and it certainly helped me get other stuff.
Yeah, you said like it changed your life, like dramatically, I imagine. Like is it almost like, you know, black and white, how much everything changed after getting the part in Outlander?
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, I was a jobbing actor and auditioning for stuff and getting close on things, but I think it just puts you in a new bracket. You know, you get offered stuff, you know, outright, which is brilliant. And also, I guess being a leading man, yeah, you get to get into a different category, which is great.
Yeah. So one of the films that I want to talk about, because you're working, I told you it got hot in here.
I'm absolutely pouring. It must be that whiskey.
Do you know what the answer is? More
whiskey.
More.
Yeah, indeed.
You worked with them. So when you interview, when I've interviewed comedy actors, comedians, like sometimes they can be incredibly funny on screen, but when you interview them, they're not sort of naturally funny, which is not a problem because they're not expected to be. But sometimes it can be a bit sort of like, you know, you sit down with someone and they're like, hello. Yeah, no, I'll answer questions about the film, and you're like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
But one person you've worked with who I to interview is just like this crazy, surreal, brilliant journey is Kate Mckinnon, who you worked with on The Spy Who Dumped Me.
Yeah, she's brilliant. She was so fun to work with, and absolutely, she's one of these people who's, you know, you expect a comedian to be funny in real life, and sometimes they're not. She's very funny in real life, but she's super intelligent. You have to be a comedian, I think, to be coming up with that material. And she just worked so hard. I remember, like, every take she'd be writing down notes, writing alt lines. She worked so hard. Whilst we were in Budapest where we shot, she taught herself to speak Hungarian, like within a couple of weeks. Like, she's that intelligent and that hardworking. Yeah.
That's incredible. Did you?
No. I think after a few palinkas, I thought it sounded like Hungarian, but no. No. Yeah, I think I managed to say hello, and I can't remember how to say that now. See ya. There you go.
See ya.
See ya, which is pretty easy to remember.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to remember. So palinka, I think I had a few of those when we were in Budapest. That's the regional beer, the local beer.
That's probably what's coming out of me now as well.
I can only apologise for the heat in here.
You're not sweating at all, though.
No, I am, but I haven't been for a run today or done any exercise in the past 10 years.
Or drank a body weight of tequila last night.
Oh, man. That's what it'll be, yeah it'll be the bloody tequila. Yeah, no, it's you see, this is, and I feel stupid saying this, but someone once said to me, tequila is the it's different to all other alcohols because all other alcohols are a depressant, whereas tequila is a stimulant. Yeah, and obviously, you know, I did science at A-level, so I should be like, no, it's still an alcohol, it's still a depressant, shut up. But for a long time, I was like, that's why I drink tequila.
Yeah. And you don't get a hangover. They're like, you don't get a hangover if you just drink tequila. Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Cut to you waking up on your sofa with a bit of cold pizza stuck to your chest.
Yeah, I don't have a hangover, though. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. Oh, so I feel like I didn't give you fair warning for just how hot our studio gets.
No, you did give me warning. Yeah, I sweat profusely, and it's a common theme of my life. I think is oversweating too much, especially in audition situations. I was going to tell you just then. So I remember one of the first auditions I had in LA, and I went in this like light blue shirt, and it's all sort of, you know, very summery, and I sat down in a chair similar to this, and I think I waited like 40 minutes, and it was just getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And they called me in. I looked down, and I literally sweated through my whole shirt. So before I went, I ran downstairs to my manager, who was there at the time, and he's a big lad. He was a big lad. I mean, you know, I said, just give me your shirt. Give me your shirt. So he gave me this like white oversized shirt. So I must have walked in just looking like a mess, sort of dripping sweat, this baggy oversized white shirt. Just like, hi, I'm what you're looking for.
Did you get it?
Yeah, no.
Wow, yeah. Would you like LA though? It's I find it quite a strange place. I've never fallen in love with it as much as other US cities. What are your thoughts?
I have a real love-hate with it. I've gone through so many experiences there. I mean, when I first started going there, auditioning, I had very little money. I couldn't drive. I used to go everywhere by bus. So I'd go to all my auditions by bus. But I mean, I'd get up at sort of 5 a.m, get on a bus, and you'd be traveling for hours all over the city with piles of scripts because it was before emails and things. I remember going into like Paramount Studios. I just got off the bus and they're like, sir, we'll validate your car. And I'm like, no, I got the bus. And they're like, what?
No one gets the bus.
No one gets it. They're like, there's a bus. And I've been through so many highs and lows there, but I do enjoy to visit. Yeah.
It must be different now going there after the success of Outlander, though. I mean, I get what you're saying. I think LA is one of those places where if you are sort of like starting out and you don't know anyone, it can be more than any other city I found really lonely.
Yeah.
But the minute you're sort of the phone's ringing and people know who you are, and it is obviously it's Hollywood, so it is a very different place.
Yeah, it is, and I absolutely have noticed. Now, I mean, it sort of really hit me. I was doing the LA Marathon a couple of years ago, and there was a huge billboard of Outlander, and we ran down Sunset past this billboard. I remember just thinking, wow, like there it is, right? There's everything. And years before, I remember the same part of Sunset. It's just below Chateau. There's that Wild West bar. There's a Starbucks nearby, and I remember walking past it at that time, and I just had no money left, and I was just completely despondent. I was like, how the hell am I going to survive? So then cut to a couple of years later and sort of, I guess, on the other side of it and seeing some success. It's been brilliant.
What's that like? It must be such a surreal moment to run past a billboard that you'd seen a billion times, like when you were starting out.
Yeah.
To then see your face on it.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a pinch me moment, but it's also, it's weird. It's like it's almost like it's not real. I don't know. Almost like, I don't know. It's not really sunk in. But it is rewarding, and it's so nice when, I mean, even Men in Kilts recently, there were a lot of billboards up there, and it's great to see your work up there and, being celebrated.
Yeah. That Wild West restaurant, what's it called? Saddle Ranch or something.
Yes,
I can't. Yeah. I went there once. It's a tourist place. Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, it was a stupid place to go because I think I'd been in LA for a while and I'd been to a lot of diners, and I was like, I need some veg. And I imagine because they'll probably do veg there because they do sort of meat and then veg. And I'll get a nice side of something green.
Yeah.
And it was green. It was also fried.
Yeah, yes, of course, fried and in a bun.
Yep.
Yeah, with cheese on top. Yeah,
everything is like just swimming in butter. But I mean, that's just that place. The food in LA's got so much better. I mean,
Yeah, it has. Yeah, I do enjoy it. As I said, I've got a business partner, and I've got a business there. We have about 6 members of staff there, so I do now have a sort of base there as well. So
it's cool.
Yeah.
Have you got a place there, or do you just stay at, like hotels?
Just stay wherever. Yeah. But I'm considering buying something there actually. Yeah.
It'd be nice. Be nice to go there. That's great because
maybe the Saddle Ranch,
just above it. Yeah.
I could be cooking up a
buttery smell,
green stuff.
I can smell the fried vegetables.
Taste.
It's how vegetables should be eaten.
Yeah, deep fried.
So I read that. In terms of Outlander, I read William Shatner is a fan, which I think is possibly the greatest sentence that if I was in Outlander, I'd be like, William Shatner is a fan of the show.
Yeah.
Have you heard from him? Have you met him?
Yeah, we've hung out a couple of times, actually.
Really?
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? What a weird world. Yeah, we sort of met on social media, and he's quite a character, and we went to his ranch. I've seen him ride. He's an incredible what's the word for it? I guess horseman.
Yeah, I think horseman is the right word. Yeah, isn't it?
I'm sure there's a certain term for it.
Which one is it? Is it Generations? Is it Generations which he's in, or is it one of the others? There's definitely one of the Star Treks which has him doing some very, very nifty horsemanship, I'm sure.
He was competing in this reining competition where they have to bring the horse in, it has to sort of turn, I think 360 or whatever on the spot, and they have to ride and just do all these things. We have to stop and move it around. It's just using this one rein, and yeah, he's incredible. And we went for dinner a couple of times. But yeah, it is again mad to sort of know that or meet someone of such great fame and popularity. And he's still going. I mean, he's still active and working, and he must be in his 80s, is he?
I think so. Yeah. It must be something like that now. Yeah,
amazing.
Did he take you somewhere nice? Was it a nice place? Saddle Ranch?
No, not the Saddle Ranch. I think we went for sushi the first time. I think I paid for it. Yeah. And then second time we were in the ranch, and it was this ranch in the valley, and it's amazing to have this bar there, and you literally people can ride up and tie their horse up at the bar and have a drink like you're in some, I don't know, Western. It's amazing.
Cannot believe Captain Kirk made you pay.
Kirk, yeah. Yeah, I'll be getting into that one. Yeah.
Did he actually say he was leaving, or did he say, "I'm just going to the restroom? Sorry, I'm just going to the restroom. I'll be back in a second."
Yeah, and just disappeared.
He's been gone for a while.
Yeah, where is he?
Yeah.
On his horse, seen galloping past.
Yeah, that's when you know he's leaving. The staff are untying his horse outside.
Yeah,
he's just straight on it, hops on it.
There isn't really any sort of quiet getaway, though, is there? I mean, you're going to be spotted, aren't you? But yeah, no, I mean, incredible. You know, it's amazing the people you get to meet out there as well.
Yeah, Kirk though, man, that's cool. That's really cool. So another movie that I saw of yours not so long ago, which. Not that I'm comparing the release of a movie to a global pandemic, but it must have been a little bit frustrating, the timing of the release of Bloodshot, because I think, if I remember rightly, it came out the Friday or the week of, or maybe the week before we went into lockdown. It got its theatrical release.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's actually I've had 3 movies come out during the pandemic, so I would love one day to people be able to go see my work, but yeah, it was a build up. I don't think it was different in America at that point to the UK, but we were doing a lot of press. We were out there. We had the premiere, and I remember actually of the day, people started emailing saying, "Hey, I'm actually not going to come. I'm a bit scared about coming to the movie theater." None of us really knew what was going on, and we had very little information. So we went ahead with the premiere, and it was a success. It probably a super spreader of the time, who knows? But for me, that movie, I just had such a blast, to work with such incredible people. I mean, Vin Diesel is an enigma. He's such a character, and to be in a big show like that was so fun.
I want to believe. I want the story to be that Vin called you, and that at the end of the phone, like, you heard his gravelly voice, like, "Hey Sam, this is Vin. I want you for my movie."
He didn't do that, but he has since sent me messages occasionally, and he'll talk like that. And so it's going to be awesome. It's going to be the most amazing thing. But when he's talking, sometimes he gets really quiet, and then he doesn't enunciate anymore. And you just don't know what he's saying, and you're just like, yeah. Okay. He gets so he just gets so Vin. He becomes himself to a factor of 10. But I mean. The biggest heart, I think, of a man. I think, he really.
Do you want me for this movie or not? So yes, or
yeah. So, what do you mean? He did. I remember on set one day he did take me aside and he was telling me something about the scene, and I had no idea what he was saying. He's just talking, and it was really, going to be really good. And I just was like, okay, yeah, okay, we're going to do this.
I hope that's not important information. Was that? Was he telling me where the squibs are going off?
Yes. God. But it was, just so fun. I had such a blast on it. It felt like a holiday, to be honest, compared to Outlander. Just not having to lead something as much, but just to be on set and doing comic book stuff. It's like every schoolboy kind of.
And you look like you're having fun. I won't lie. Like Jimmy Dalton, your character, it must be fun playing an absolute bastard. And he really was. Like, he's a piece of work.
He's a piece of work. But I wanted him, like, all the characters are supposed to be, that they're human, but they've got a flaw. And it's that they've
that's the atmosphere sucking the last of the moisture out of your throat. Now
I can't breathe.
You won't. You it's all left your body.
To death.
This is the end.
That's it. So it was nice knowing you. And you actually, I sort of coughing.
Yeah, it was right. Yeah, Dexter Fletcher's buried over there.
Yeah, Dex. All right, Dex. I must remind people not to do the show.
No, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. We're getting some aircon installed or something. Sorry, go on. What were you saying about it being a blast and these characters?
Oh, yeah. No, just that, he's obviously, angry, very angry. But, there's a reason for that. And like his backstory for me, it was quite interesting just thinking about, how he became that. And he, he used to be or is, a good operator. He's ex-Navy SEAL and then he's lost his legs. And I think in some sort of trauma. And I think that's really driven him. He's angry. He's angry at the military. He's angry at himself. He's for all these reasons. And I think, he feels like he's been passed over as well. He didn't get the technology that Vin Diesel's character got. So I think he's pissed about it.
Yeah, it's more the fact that he does that thing that I hate it when I see it, which is that he holds one nostril and snots out of the other. When I see that happen. Yeah. Now, I will clarify that I'm sure I don't exercise very much. And I'm sure if you exercise a lot and you do that, probably there is some need for it, I'm guessing. Like there's a buildup of snot in one nostril and you just have to get it out.
Totally unnecessary. It's totally unnecessary in that moment. It's like, actually that note came from our fight choreographer who was actually an ex-military guy. He's brilliant. He's done a lot of Vin's movies. And he was just like, yeah, man, you should just, he's real like alpha male kind of guy. Right. He's like, yeah, it's all about sort of bravado and stuff and just blow your nose or spit. And I'm just like, yeah, that's cool. I'm going to try that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it works in the movie. I'm just like, oh, it's like spitting. This is more about me, but I just don't know at what point in your life you go, I've got too much saliva in my mouth. I'm gonna have to spit it out. It's just there's an excess in my mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to admit I do spit occasionally, but it's only when I'm exercising.
Right. I'm giving you a free pass on that, man.
Yeah.
I cannot comment on exercise because I don't do it. So,
or if I'm about to fight someone, I blow my nose.
I mean, you've just given anyone you might end up with in a fight with a warning now.
That's it.
You see him spit, he's coming for you.
Or if he sweats profusely, that means he's, I don't know.
Means he's just done an interview with Alex. Yeah. And that's why he'll have a very dry throat. You're at an advantage. He's weak. He's dehydrated.
Now get him.
Now's the time to take him. Yeah, it's I really enjoyed that film. I thought it was a lot of fun, and it's. I mean, I sort of say, it's a shame it came out at the time of the global pandemic, but it went on to have a massive life on VOD.
It did really well on VOD, I think. And I think also, Dave Wilson, who directed it, his first movie,
incredible,
and his attention to detail on set, he was brilliant. He was stressed, of course, but he never really showed it, and he was great fun to work with, and I just. For me, it was just a great experience, and I'd love to have. I wish there was another one. It would be great.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're really great in action scenes. Like you're really great in the action scene. That big fight you have with Vin, like it's up there with when Vin goes toe to toe with the Rock in Fast 5.
We actually shot a whole sequence in a swimming pool that was as warm as this room was, and for a week. And it was boiling hot. I mean, this whole action sequence where basically my character and his go head to head at the end of the movie. And it was like something out of Alien or Aliens. It was, I had, obviously I strap him, I bring him out of the water, and we're sort of this water going everywhere. And it was spectacular. And it all got cut. It was a real shame because it was such a really cool sequence.
Oh, that is a shame.
Yeah.
That is a shame. Probably maybe on DVD, maybe on the Blu-ray.
I think it is actually.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Because I enjoy watching you do action. Because I mean, even The Spy Who Dumped Me, that's a comedy, but that cafe fight at the start, near the start, is that's a proper full blown. I mean, it's got your comedy elements, like especially the end where your character's standing there. And you've got that lovely trope at the end of an action sequence where everything's still, and then a light fitting just like falls to the ground.
Yeah. Or actually, I think the last person my character sort of kills or at least knocks out, he drowns him in a bowl of, I think it's souffle or something. But it was supposed to be a nod to James Bond in the fight sequence in Casino Royale in the bathroom where he's drowning him in the sink. So we did it in a bowl of souffle. Yeah.
Is it souffle?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, cheese.
I had custard written down.
It might be custard.
Well, no, because isn't it weird that if you drown in if I was being drowned in something, I'd rather it was custard. So
yeah, that'd be lovely. Yeah.
I could deal with that.
Yeah, I'd be happy about
Nom
custard.
nom nom nom.
Not
Dead.
souffle, no.
No. But
Death
yeah,
by custard.
I mean, you mentioned Bond, and it would be remiss of me not to ask, because obviously the circus is ongoing, but your name is still on every single list when they talk about the new Bond. How do you feel about it all?
Yeah, I mean, there's a long list, right? And it's one of those things, isn't it? It's like you don't want to talk about it because there isn't anything to talk about. I mean, it's all media, and it's all just there's no weight to it at all. There's no truth to it. But having said that, you can't help then think, God, it would be amazing. And I have been up for Bond. I went up for it when they did Bond 21, and it was an amazing experience. And I was, completely out of my depth. But I think now, I mean, I feel the right age for it. I feel capable enough to do it. I'd love the opportunity to throw my hat in the ring. Yeah, definitely.
Ah,
But
man,
who knows?
I mean, we're friends, but I think you'd be a fantastic Bond. I think there's been glimmers of that in a lot of the things that you've done. And yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's a fascinating character, and I think you look back at the books, he's actually not a very likable man. He's a bit of a psychopath himself, and I think that's why I loved SAS. Having any source material, having something to draw upon, and I think that's why I loved SAS. Had Andy McNab, this special forces operator, in his books. So much to draw upon, and I think any project like that is great when you get source material. So Bond would be good because you'd have the books, obviously, to go back on. But yeah, anything like that, it's a gift for an actor, I think.
Yeah, SAS was a lot of fun. That's a really, really fun movie.
Thank you.
I mean, like the shorthand, in case anyone has yet to see it, you should. SAS Red Notice. It's basically Die Hard on the Channel Tunnel, but with a lot more to it because, like you say, Andy McNab, and how he's imbued your character with himself and his understanding of psychopathy, basically.
Yeah, he's just a fascinating character, isn't he? And I mean, the first half of his experiences as a special forces operator and the missions he's been on, and he's very open about that, and he'll talk to you about it, and he's written books about it, so you can read them. And it's just from his experiences in Northern Ireland to South America to Africa, he's been in some pretty dark places. Not all of them, probably. For the greater good, I mean, it's really interesting when you start to find out, what British interests really means. But then you talk to him about psychopathy and how he's discovered recently that he is a psychopath and he's a good psychopath. And I think then as an actor, how do you play a psychopath? All of these things. So it's there was a lot to take on board, but he was a great help and a great aid during the whole of that shooting.
And totally not what I expect. When I met him, you have this image in your head of what Andy McNab is going to be, like this sort of stoic, hard man, like I don't want to go near him. He's sort of scary. Not at all.
Yeah. You expect a Hulk of a man who's going to break your wrist, probably sort of, I don't know, look like he could kill you with one look. And then Andy walks in. You all right, mate? You all right? Yeah, all right, yeah. And he's got the biggest smile, and he sort of grins a lot, but he does it. He holds your eye, doesn't he? He holds it.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh God. Yeah.
That's all I remember hearing that day in Budapest. It's that great sequence, which is meant to be Regent's Park, but it's obviously in Budapest. Which the storming of the house, the Swallows base. But yeah, I remember being there, and just all I could hear was yeah. He's so accommodating. Yeah. Should I do this? Should I do that? Yeah. Do that. That'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah, and there so many moments. Like there's a moment where my character he kills someone with a mobile phone, and Andy, you ask him, well, how does that work then? Oh yeah, we got to get him. You just get it around his neck, and you really get it in his larynx, and you just all your force, use your body weight, and just get in there. And he's just so it's so matter of fact as well. It's like yeah, that's how you do it. Yeah, all right, okay, that's how you would kill a man. Okay, right, good.
You've normalized this, haven't you? This is just like, this is how you butter toast. Yeah, you get the knife, you put butter on the butter, and you just spread it. Yeah. But he's talking about cutting someone's larynx out.
Exactly. Yeah. And then he would do things. I mean, he just his training. But I remember lunchtime, he would, as soon as they called lunch, he'd go down, he'd scoff it down. Go to get it down, and then he'd lie down on set and just fall asleep, and he'd sleep throughout the lunch hour, and then back up, and he'd go again. The man didn't sleep apart from that.
I wonder if that's a military rations thing. It's like if you've got food, you eat it, and you rest when you can.
Rest when you can because you're always ready. Yeah, definitely.
Hey, we're nearing the end of our lovely chat. It's been a pleasure having you. One final thing to do, because obviously the show is called Just the Facts. So what I've done is I have trawled that wonderful well of misinformation that is the internet and found out 4 facts about you, and I just need you to confirm whether these are in fact facts.
Fact or no fact?
Fact or falsehood?
Falsehood.
Fact or falsehood?
Great, go on then.
All right, 4 to get through. Here's your first one. You are certain we have been visited by aliens.
Where did you find that? I think you're just making these up.
I can give you the source at the end. I don't want to jinx. Don't want to jinx it.
I mean, I would say it's probably fact.
Really?
Yeah, I'm into all that. I'm into it.
I am.
I really do. I think there's. Yeah, it just is. It's impossible for us to think that we're the only life form out there. And you look at statistics. I mean, there has to be other life forms out there, and way more advanced than us. Yeah.
And you think they've actually been here, though?
Yeah.
Like historically, or like they walk among us?
I mean, I'm not going to say Elon Musk is one, but I would say I think just looking at. I mean, I just love those documentaries and the ancient aliens and all that sort of stuff, and then and all the sightings, and recently NASA released images of these craft that are flying and then goes into the sea. There's been numerous times they've been released, and we sort of people don't really aware of it, or we just sort of think, oh well, it's nothing. But yeah, maybe I want to believe, but I do think so. Yeah.
The X-Files. The truth is out there. Yeah. But it's interesting you say that, you see, because I think it's one of the greatest tricks that has ever been played, which is that the minute you go, yeah, I mean, I think we should ask some questions about this. People go, oh, one of those, are you? Conspiracy theorists? Oh, yeah, UFOs. And it's like somehow to actually ask that question, you are immediately put in this category of like, right, you think there's aliens, as opposed to, this is a totally legitimate question. I am kind of like just asking it, and you are now. I'm a nut job because I'm asking it.
It's a bigger picture, isn't it? But it's like our technology is so inferior. I mean, we still drive vehicles with pedals and levers, right? They basically are. We're still combustion engines. Our technology is we're getting better, but there are different kinds of technology as well. And I think there's probably other life forms out there that have maybe different ways that they've evolved. And I'm fascinated. I think it's my one regret is that I might not see the time when we get to go out there. Maybe it was Kirk that did it, but I growing up with Star Trek as a kid, but I want to go out there.
Oh yeah. And pick up the check, Sam. Yeah. No, I agree. The bleakest thing I ever thought, and it's not that bleak, but I did there was a period where I was like, when was it the 21st of December 2012, and the Mayan calendar was supposed to dictate the end of the world, and it was all going to finish, and there was a part of me that was like, I actually hope it does, because then I'll know that I was here at the end, and I'm not going to miss out on anything in the future.
Yeah, and also like I want to believe that they're right, and so that'll show everyone. See, I told you.
Yeah, I'll be standing on a tectonic plate as it goes vertical, going, "I told you so." All right, good. So we're going with that is a fact. You are certain we've been visited by aliens. This is an easier one. You're a pescatarian.
I was brought up a pescatarian,
right?
Vegetarian pescatarian. Yeah, and I've dabbled recently in veganism and every other form.
Okay.
Interestingly, I was a vegetarian until I was about 24. I first went to Los Angeles, and I was having meetings for Superman. I had quite a few meetings for that.
Which one? Superman Returns?
Brandon Routh one.
Oh, okay.
Singer, yeah. And I had quite a few meetings, and they were like, "Well, you need to bulk up, you need to get strong." So I had to start going to the gym. I'd never really done that. And I met this Russian trainer. You must eat protein. And I'm like, okay. So that was the first time I had chicken and meat, and it was quite a revelation for me, because being a vegetarian, I was always so tired, and suddenly I'm like, oh, I have energy and I'm satiated, and yeah. So it was interesting. Yeah. I'll probably go back to it.
Kind of dodged a bullet with that movie, if I'm perfectly honest. Not a great film.
Totally, yeah. Yeah. It's a character again. I think I'd quite like to play with the right people around it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
If you did, you'd be one of the few people who played Batman and Superman.
That would be cool. Oh, that's a cool fact, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to get Superman first for that to be a fact. But yeah, once you get Superman, you'll be one of the few people who's been Batman and Superman.
One of the first jobs I did, there's a, we all have them when you start off in careers, you do some pretty poor jobs. I mean, they're just something you'd probably not look back on. I did this movie called Young Alexander the Great from Macedonia. And that's the full title. And it was produced by
Snappy
Ilya Salkind, who was...
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And he sort of really took me under his wing. And he an interesting guy. And he would just always talk about Christopher Reeve and, you're the next Soups. You're the next Soups. And he just loved it. And it was just so interesting to hear about that era and creating those movies.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so that is a fact then. I'm going to go with that's a fact. The internet is doing well today. You're a pescatarian.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Oh, you were. It's crazy, isn't it? Like you can
find anything there.
When you're a vegetarian though, or a vegan, because I'm a vegan, and I did, although I joke about not exercising, I did go see a trainer, and they were like, oh, when I said I'm a vegan, they were like, God, this is going to be difficult, because it is all about like the protein that I'm not saying you can't be a vegan and be fit and exercise, but I think the route one for a lot of trainers is, well, you need meat, you need protein, you need chicken,
which is nonsense, because you can there's so much protein in vegetables, and you look at, that was an age old thing about gorillas, they're full muscle or cows or whatever, but I think it's just, again, a sort of a hangover from the heyday of bodybuilding, where you had to eat like 6 steaks a day and just eggs.
Yeah,
and you actually don't.
Yeah, I remember when Hugh Jackman was interviewing Hugh Jackman for something, and he was training for. He was getting ready for Logan, and suddenly, just halfway through the interview, someone brings in a steak for him. It's literally like at this time he has to eat this steak.
Yeah,
because it's like so regimented, the preparation for stuff like that.
Yeah, I kind of want to do something like that. Where you have to
really go to town.
Yeah, steak an hour.
Yeah,
and lift heavy things all the time.
Well, we joke about you haven't played Batman and then playing Superman. Would a superhero movie be something that appealed to you?
Yeah, yes and no. I don't love those movies. I have to admit. I think some are great. I have met for something quite, a couple of years ago, and then things happened. But yeah, I was sort of meeting on something that could have been really, really fun. But I don't know. I guess they've all been done a bit, haven't they? Yeah.
We'll have to see what happens with the new phase of Marvel, the Eternals and everything. It's sort of, I'll probably get the ire of Marvel fans and MCU fans, but, for me, Endgame really felt like a big full stop in the universe for me. So it's a wait and see one for me. We'll have to see what happens with this, the future. But I feel like I went on a massive journey that I was so invested in, and I don't know that I'm
ready to go.
I'm ready to start over again.
Just keep going, yeah. The darker the better, definitely. I like, the darker guys, and there's so many great ones out there now, isn't there?
Yeah. The Nolan trilogy, it's like maybe Sam Heughan could be the Batman.
Sweaty man. Who's that sweaty man?
Sweaty man. All right, we've got 2 left, and then we can get out of this sweat box. Your biggest fear is being trapped in a lift.
Oh, God, this is it, isn't it?
This is your biggest fear.
Is getting there, yeah. But it doesn't say with Alex Zane. I think that's probably true, actually. Yeah.
Out of everything.
Yeah. Well, I'm quite a big guy, and I think a small lift, and if there's no air, no oxygen, no water, no whiskey, then it's
the heating on, no tissues.
No tissues.
Yep.
That sounds pretty horrendous. Yeah. That could be awful.
Have you? This isn't from experience, though. You've never been trapped in a lift.
No, never been trapped in a lift. No.
Mine is sharks. Full stop.
Well, yeah. I don't know. I think we all have a fascination with them, don't we?
Oh yeah, I love them, but I can't go in the sea because sharks.
Yeah. You remember when you're a kid? When you watch Jaws, and then you're in the swimming pool, and you can't get in the swimming pool anymore. You're like, what is going on? Just in case somehow
it somehow got in. This is literally why I failed my 25-meter swimming certificate. I climbed out after about 19 meters because I was convinced there was a shark in the pool, that someone just hadn't checked that it had somehow got in through one of the vents.
Yeah, the vents. It's always the because it could have got in if it was small enough. It could have swam through and then grown in the pool. No one's noticed it. And then one day, it just happens. It's been feeding on children.
Just really lax lifeguards. I don't know. Maybe there's just some red dye.
Do you know, I was a lax lifeguard.
Really?
One of the many jobs I did being a jobbing actor was I was a lifeguard. I'm really ashamed to say that I had no real training. I mean, I had a bit of training, but there were two of us, and we used to go, and while one was watching, the other one would cover themselves up with a blanket and have a nice snooze. So we just alternated all day, just having a snooze. It was lovely, but probably not the best lifeguards.
No. Probably never say which pool that is, just in case.
I don't want to say which pool. No, there was always one on standby, but yeah, we just weren't the most motivated.
If you're going to get into trouble in that pool, just be of a size where one can get you out.
Oh, we would have just said stand up because it was about this deep. So. Yeah.
All right, final fact. This one kind of disturbs me, but I'm assuming it's not real. You eat eggs with ketchup.
Who doesn't?
Really?
What are you talking about? Yeah, like an omelette or something.
Okay.
Is that weird?
I mean, I think it's a bit weird, but I don't know. I've never met anyone who eats eggs with ketchup. You're the first, but I'm sure there's probably a community out there that you're part of. I mean, what kind of egg? Like an omelette is one thing, but like, would you have? I don't know. Would you make a boiled egg, cut the top off, and fill it with ketchup?
No.
Okay,
but
you're not appalled by that idea.
I don't dislike the idea. I've tried to wean myself off of it, but yeah, there's something about eggs and ketchup I do love. Yeah, I didn't know it was that weird.
Maybe it's not. This could be me.
I would say scrambled eggs you can't. That's just too much. That's disgusting.
Right, okay.
Yeah, that would be horrible.
You draw the line at scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
But you're cool with filling a boiled egg with ketchup and eating it.
That'd be quite nice, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. Once I finish sweating in here, I might go do
that. Well, we have finished sweating in here. We can turn on the aircon and open the door. Sam Heughan, it's genuinely always a pleasure to see you, man.
You too, mate. Yeah, really appreciate the sauna. It was really nice.
My gift to you.
Yeah, it's been really nice to see you again.
You too, man. Thank you very much.